Yeah,
Jamming to the bird squad.
that's the energy on this Friday morning, this hazy, cloudy Friday morning.
I know. And we were just talking about it. Man, what an evening. You and I had dinner last night. A fantastic Dalmore dinner. Some single malts that are very rare. So we get to indulge a little bit in the world of hospitality, which is very nice, with some heavy food that was delicious. But I ate light because I'm going to sleep well. What happens? My kids, man, I love them. 8 and 6, but each decided to wake me up, one at 2 and one at 4. So a little sleepy, all overslept today, late to school. It's all right.
It's either the single moms, it's either the food or the kids, man. We can't escape one.
I know, and I was being very responsible yesterday. I was like, just a little sips,
It was
enjoy the
delicious.
food.
It was delicious. Well, thank you again for the invitation. It was an awesome experience. I know you're used to these tastings and pairings with the food, and you've done a few before, but I'm new into the game, and it's always enjoyable and tasty when people create something or create an experience based out of food and alcohol. It's always neat.
It's fun, and it's so funny to see because for the people who don't know, I used to be food and beverage director of different hotels and been through food and beverage my whole life. So we were sitting at a table with people who take it very seriously, right? They were taking the sipping very seriously, and they have no background in food and beverage, but that's their hobby. And what I tell people, like I was telling you, Victor, is just enjoy it. If you like a certain thing, you can like a certain thing. It doesn't matter what it's rated or what year it is or how much it costs. If you like something, that's what matters most.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah. They started getting into the notes and the taste and the smells. I was
It's
like,
nonsense.
it's like whiskey to me.
Can you taste the caramel, the burnt caramel, and the peat moss from the earth mixed together? No, I don't,
Yeah,
but it tastes good.
I love it. It's a hobby. We had really good people around us and enjoying it. We had a person next to me that was sitting that's kind of like their hobby, and she collects them. So as we collect baseball cards, memorabilia, records, people collect single
Yes.
malts, whiskeys, and all this fine bourbon. So
We
super
saw,
cool.
right? One of the packages there was $125,000 for 3 bottles. So you could buy it yourself if you are a collector of Dalmore. Last night it was for sale for 125,000 with they gave a $10,000 discount if you were at the dinner. We did
I
not
love
go home with it.
You could either buy $100,000 bottle of whiskey, or you can have two down payments for a vacation rental. I don't know. You choose.
I think that we made the right choice, is what I think. So, always fun, always good. We're going with the flow today. We've got a lot going on this week. We've talked about this a couple times, but I always leave energized. We finished our quarterly EOS meeting with our EOS champion, Isabel Porzakansky.
Oh,
And why don't you give a little summary? What is EOS for people out there who maybe listen to the
man.
first time?
Yeah, I love it. I got introduced to it by a book that was recommended from a friend of mine, Laz. You're listening. Thank you for that. And he introduced the Traction book. That really got me looking into business another way, right? I mean, we always, wear so many hats, especially starting a company and being an entrepreneur and being a small company, and you don't realize that you can actually take a step back. And how we always say, not work in the business, work on the business.
Mhm.
And there's tools and steps and processes where you can run and operate your company based off of EOS. Remind me, it's an Entrepreneurial Operating System, right?
Mhm. Yep, you got
So
it.
so basically, this system basically takes you from beginning to end. You create your vision, you create your values for the company, you create processes and how you basically hold people accountable. There's scorecards. So the idea is basically once a week we're looking at these
Mhm.
numbers, and if we were to say we were castaways in an island and don't have our phone or laptop, what are the numbers that we can get every week delivered to us, that we can check the health of our company? So,
Yep.
so many cool things like that. We got rocks. Basically, every quarter we set up, really big milestones that we need to complete for the quarters. We have our 7 days to dos that pile up very quickly every time we have our L10 meetings. So I love it. I'm a fan. We had uh, we had our quarterly with Isabel on Tuesday, and I always leave there motivated, new ideas, and I always think like, when can two owners or when can leadership's team really find time to meet together in one place
Mhm.
or one time for a whole day to just talk about the company? it's not usual, right? So this forces us to do it and have those conversations, and I love it. I'm a believer.
Yeah, me too. I was a hater on it at the beginning. And I told Isabel that because I've known Isabel. She's fantastic. And we'll clip this for you, Isabel, because she was, the HR area director for Four Seasons
Mhm.
at one point and for Mandarin Oriental. So it really depends on who's doing it for you, too. Because
Right.
we've talked to some people who don't have a great
Yeah, different experience.
leader that helps and installs it. But she's done a fantastic job for us. And we love having her part of the team. But also, what I learned coming from the hotel world, like we always talk about what you could bring from hotels to the vacation rental world, and we're kind of mixing those now, is knowing the standards, knowing what your position is and what you have to do, and also holding people accountable to those things. And I think that can be used in any business. And so I love using that every single day and week and month and quarter and year, and just being able to see what the plan is and going after it.
I
Love it.
love it.
So,
I love it. What was one takeaway? I could share one takeaway from our quarterly that I really enjoyed. I think it was the exercise that we did, the cash flow profit exercise.
mhm.
Super cool. It was basically a web, and basically each web is different ways right now that we can instill into the company to either decrease expenses or find other ways to
Increase. Mhm.
increase revenue. So like super cool ideas was like, put in all of our, savings account, put it into a high yield, simple things that obviously the answers are in the room and we know this, but when we write it on paper and we create to dos and goals to do it, it just makes it so much simpler. But, we got the high yield, we got, some services that we can offer to guests. We have a couple of errors and mistakes that we could eliminate and bring down, some of our costs. What else? I think I'm drawing
Yeah,
blank.
referral fees from vendors. We're getting
Well,
new contracts done with our current providers that cost us a certain amount. I think it's just the goal of it was, all right, there are so many things and levers you can pull if you sit
right.
down and just take the time for a half hour or an hour with your own company and say, all right, how could I be more creative? And it could be something simple, like you said, like we all have our own high yield savings accounts personal, or so does our
Right.
company now, right? Like, and now 4% more money there.
There
And
you
how
go.
can we tweak our insurance that we give guests? How can we tweak the experiences we give the owners, right? Like we have all these different things that we can do
Amazing.
now and pull all these different levers. And now we have a new service that we're not going to announce yet, but that's an exciting one that we're going to do with hotels. So a lot of new things that come out of that. And I challenge any of you listening, just sit down with your company, take that hour with your business partner. You don't need EOS, just work on your business. What are the big problems you got? And then hold each other accountable to fixing them. So that was what I like coming from it. I think it's very cool every
I love
time, and I learn something new every single time.
it. I love it.
So
Yes.
anyway, enough of EOS. We do have something coming up. If you're listening today, next week we'll be at WTE Miami, the World Travel Expo at the Miami Beach Convention Center, where they'll have people from around the world that they're flying in to learn about first South Florida and then all the
Right.
other countries that want people to travel there. And it's just very exciting that we will be a part of it. We were invited to be there. So Tangy will have a booth there. We will be teaching people about what we do on both sides, ownership of vacation rentals and also staying with us, because we have a brand new website that will be up and running by Monday. That's been 6 months in the works. So I'm excited about that. We're going to push it out there. It may have a kink or two, but it'll be live by
It's
the
gonna be
conference.
live. I'm excited. I'm excited. It's our first. We've been to conferences, obviously, many, many times, but it's our first time that we are going to be in a booth. So I'm excited. We got a really cool setup, and hopefully everybody that passes by and sees us says hi and
Mhm.
hello and enjoy the setup. It took some time and work from us and the marketing team. So I'm excited. We got Monday. We're going over to set it up, and Tuesday and Wednesday we'll be there live and direct.
Yeah, hopefully we get a lead. We'll take a lead. Will be worth it. We'll go
I
home
think
with it.
so. I think so. Either way, cool experience. We'll get to work from there. We'll get some knowledge. We'll meet some people, make connections. You never know. It's always fun to get to meet new people, right?
Yeah, I'm excited about that. So we got a lot of fun things going on. Our properties are doing really well this month, better than last year. So that's great to see. We made some tweaks in revenue management.
Oh yeah.
So that's really good. And, lots of fun things happen. But let's talk about some fun things now here. We were just talking about it because I haven't stayed in any of these yet, and I really want to. So Airbnb, they have a category, and the category is the OMG category. So Victor, why don't you explain what this is? And I'm going to see if I can pull up some pictures here so we can see it.
Yeah, yeah, that would be cool for the viewers to see. But yeah, oh my God, it's I guess it says it in the name, right? Oh my God, properties. I mean, look at these. If
Oh
you can
my
see, if
gosh,
you're a
there it
viewer,
is.
and you can look, we got a submarine, a spaceship, a house built like a
A
shoe.
shoe?
It's incredible. I could never imagine myself staying in one, but I would love to. I would love to experience this and enjoy it. I wonder how the plumbing is in a submarine.
Yeah,
But
I'm looking
so
at
many
them.
cool features, and I think this idea came about, Steve, because you brought up a cool finding that I think through research or word of mouth, you
Yep.
found some really cool ideas for our possible glamping site. So it's so cool to see that there is a niche and a market for something like this. So I'm excited, and it's so cool to see all these like. What else do you see on
Yeah.
here? My
I
vision
see
is
a bunch
bad.
of them. I just think it's fun because like ours, we're looking at we're having some trouble getting approvals, and
Mhm.
so a Conestoga wagon would be cool. Oh, it's not going onto the screen, but I think some of these are just very fun things to see. Wagon in the woods, I see it.
You see it?
$300 a night.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
So these are the things that are interesting to me. Like I know that Victor, you just bought your first investment property that is
Mhm.
beautiful in South Carolina, and it's interesting because that's a great property.
Right.
But we were just talking about it. Like you can invest in some of these and charge quadruple the price that a standard home gets, but it's hard to get these approved and to find the right place and be close to big cities to draw people in there.
Agreed.
So, you
Agreed.
know, that's what I'm interested in. And there's a YouTuber that does this a lot. This guy, Ryan Trahan.
Mhm.
He's a younger guy, like in his 20s, and he goes to these places. And so he went to the most wild ones. And I'm looking at it. He stayed in that UFO one. He stayed in the tiny home, like on top of a mountain. And it's pretty cool, like what's in them.
So
But they
cool.
are like very far away and hard to get to. So you have to
Okay.
want, like, that home is the destination. It's not like, oh, I'm going to that. And
Yeah.
then there's other stuff around me.
So kind of in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, it'll be cool to get him into one of our wagons. I know you have
Hmm.
brought or shown me a couple of pictures, and it's so unique, right? Like, and to your point earlier, what we spent in purchasing a property in South Carolina, we can get 5 wagons for. So when you start kind of
Doing the
comparing
math.
apples to apples, it's like, hey, what a neat opportunity that is. So if
Yep.
anybody that is hearing and listening and wanting to invest, take a look at this because there's a need and there's like a market for it. So it's super cool, and we're always drawing up ideas, and you're always bringing up cool things from your research. So I'm excited, and that's why I wanted to share the oh my god properties on here.
Yeah, for me, that's what I like seeing is the creativity because these are the ones I think are kind of the future. Some of them are way out there, but I think like the very unique ones that still offer a good hospitality service are going to be the future. So I want us to start exploring that more. And so for listeners, like we're a year in now. It's a year officially as of last week of trying to get this glamping project going in at the city of Miami or at Miami-Dade County. Sorry, is making it very challenging. But I think we're whittling down their reasons for not doing it finally. And so they said to get a civil engineer finally to start putting some plans together official that
Okay.
they will reject. But
Mm,
then at least there's some steps forward, I'm sure.
there you go.
So we
There you
continue on. So if you're a planner out there or you've done some development of glamping sites in Florida, let us know. We're looking to work with people that are recommended. That's always the best people to work with. So
I
we go
love it.
one step at a time to get this done. And
Okay.
luckily, the landowner still wants to do it. We won't give all the secrets yet of what it is, but I love the concept of what we're going to create out there. So,
Hey, then-
yeah, these OMGs, I would like to gotta go visit one. That's what we should do. We'll make it a Tangy Talk sponsored one, and we'll do it live from one of them. What do you
Very cool.
think?
I would love to. I just don't know about in the middle of just rural nowhere where
With
Wi-Fi and service probably doesn't get to you.
yeah, nice snore. I
I
don't know,
like
man.
being off the map, but not too off the map.
No, this is like I'll send you the links. These are way out there. Some of them. There's one where you can stay with a bunch of llamas. We could go to that one.
Okay. I mean,
The llama house.
add
Look at it
protection,
right
add protection just in case. But super cool. But yeah, any viewer anybody listening, if you have ideas or any cool, projects or vision for us, or for, what you're working on, definitely
Happy to
share.
share. Yeah, yeah. All right, so
Ex-
we were talking about this yesterday with one of our
Mhm.
team members, and it's the rise of AI in vacation rentals. And so
Taking
I'm
over.
a big supporter of using AI in everything
Mhm.
that we do to make you more efficient. I know there's some people who are, don't use that. It's ruining everything. People's jobs are going to get lost. Yes, that will happen. But it's also a tool that everyone will be using. If you're not using it now, we're the older guys now. Our kids are going to be using it for everything. And
Incredible.
people coming through are going to be using it to get ahead in business and in the business world. So
I agree.
for me, I love using it for everything, but let's talk about how we could use it in the vacation rental world.
Yeah.
Why don't you give
Yes.
a couple examples and I'll give some examples of how we're using it.
Sure, for sure. I mean, there's just a big movement, right? We talked about on this channel that we went recently to a Faber conference early in September, and it was like the hot topic of the conference, and AI was just, kind of like the rising star. So everybody's, wanting to learn and find out how they can, best use it for their company, or instill it and help the efficiency and productivity. But we recently spoke with a company, and seeing how they can help us, and help, using AI, helping us generate revenue, or generate efficiency. And one really cool little insight that we saw, that you can put things on automation using AI, things like, filling up gap nights. So if you have some vacancies after a checkout, you can let a guest know, hey, with a 10% discount, 20% discount, if your reservation or if your travels are flexible, you can go ahead and extend. Same as if there's a gap nights before the reservation. Things like mid-stay cleanings we can offer them. Things like services and things of that nature. So AI can really, really help, and, generate income for you. I know there's a couple of other uses and AI tools that are, kind of on the rise. So I'll let you take that.
No, we're doing a bunch. We're doing a bunch. That company was Bestie AI, and so they're coming out with a bunch of automation tools. We use Guesty as our PMS, and all of a sudden we saw a little robot pop up in the bottom that helps answer messages for our team. So our team has like pre-made messages based off of what's actually happening. We use Beyond Pricing for the revenue management of all of our units, and now they have an AI tool where you run a review and it reviews all your data. It gives you suggestions based off of the booking pattern of guests and how that home is performing, and you can accept those or decline them. But it's someone that would have taken hours for one of us to do is now done in minutes. And what I like seeing is all these repetitive things that take time away from the creative and for thinking about bigger things starts to get pushed into this. That's how I see it, right? Is like, let's speed things up here for our guests, for our owners. We were talking to Santiago, our director of operations here, and I was saying he had to make SOPs that are usually very like hotel guy. We have to sit there for hours typing out SOPs. Now you can just say, hey, I want this SOP to look like this for this type of person, use industry best practices, and also add in these things that we like to do. And it's done in 30 seconds, put a logo on it, print it, and now our housekeeping team and engineer has it, and he can move on to something else. And so for me,
So
whether
cool.
it's AI for, I don't want robots talking to our guests, but if they can help make a better experience because they can go through all the data very quickly and tell us, hey, you've got 3 birthdays coming in today. You've got 4 anniversaries coming in. You've got an upset guest in this unit, and very quickly tell us so we can make moves. That's where this becomes very powerful.
It's
And
incredible.
that's what
And
I love seeing.
Yeah, and one that we didn't mention and we're currently using right now is, using AI tools to skim your reviews.
Mhm.
So super cool. We talked about Guesty adding AI features into their toolbox, and that was one of the features they added. They added AI for reviews, so you could basically set your calendar to look at all the reviews from, September 1st through the 30th. All the reviews that came in there, they can categorize it. They skim all those reviews, and they could categorize it by, either bad complaints due to amenities, location, service, communication, etc. And they'll categorize it for you, even if the guest, maybe they didn't give it a low rating or a low score, but they verbalize saying, hey, the communication maybe was not 100%. So it'll go ahead and categorize it, so you can look with your team and we do these on Mondays, and we can look at basically what the guests are saying. So I always tell the team, the guests are giving us the answers. They're providing us the answers to the test, and what we need to do, to improve and to enhance
Hmm.
our ability. So that right there, it would take us hours, right, to like go through every single review, read them individually. But this is already something, categorized, and set for you and your team to be super efficient. And that's what we're talking about that AI is really
Yeah.
doing. And it's
And
the
what's very cool is that, yes, you can look for bad reviews, but what I love about it is that it skims all the reviews. So even if somebody gives you a 5-star review, they
good
may
point.
have a comment in there that
Yeah,
was a negative, but you may not tend to look at it as in depth because, oh, I got a 5-star review, we move on.
move on.
And this will scan all of it and be like, hey, gave you a 5-star review. However, they made a mention about the pillows or the plates or the barbecue grill or whatever it might be. So that's where the power comes in. Now you have to act on it,
Right.
right? And that's the next step, which hasn't finished yet. I think it will get there where it'll read it and then also produce some action in the coming months potentially, because I start seeing it already happening.
Yeah.
But I love it. I think if you're not using it, you need to start using it. You
100%.
start educating yourself with it. You can start with a bunch of them. There's Claude, there's ChatGPT, there's Gemini. Just start using some of them. Pay your $20 a month for a couple of months to practice. Victor's smiling because I've been telling him to do it for months now and not use the free version.
You made
Uh,
me a non-believer. Yeah, the other
yeah,
day I exceeded my AI chat GPT searches. So that was the first time I ever done that. I'm like, all right, paid version is coming soon here.
got to, but just anything for any kind of problems. Like we had a little bit of a tech issue we're trying to work through. You ask the questions about connectivity with the programs we use. The
Right.
answer's there, right? We don't have
Incredible.
to Google it and look at all the websites. Like it gave us the answer. The answer worked. Move on.
Incredible.
So I'm a big fan of that, and it will continue on. But it
Made me
also helps you find the weird guests, right? And so the weird guests we do have, and so we were talking about this too, is we get a lot of interesting guest requests out
Mhm.
there, and sometimes they're hard to handle. But you've had a couple, and I want to make sure you know you're sort of certain length that you can go to do it, and we want to make sure it's not illegal or immoral. But if it's not, we'll try our best to do it. So, what were some of the things that you've seen out there?
It's incredible, right? I mean, so many stories and so many instances come through your head. I know, Steve, that you started in hospitality very early, and people who are listening that have been in hospitality, for a really long time, I'm sure they have, a long laundry list of instances of weird guest requests and things of that nature. I've been in the hospitality industry since I was 16, so I am 31 now. So that is about
15
15,
years.
16 years, right? So you can, I mean, things like requests and things that guests do just don't surprise us anymore. But I'm thinking of one particular instance where we got a weird request. It was a funny one. It was about like 9, 8 p.m. and the guest, seemed either upset or just, not content or with what, basically the bed size of the property. And we were okay. We were like, okay, that's something new. Nobody's ever said, that the bed is either too high or too low. But this one in particular, the bed was too low for this guest. So we were all like, okay, it's 9 p.m. This guest is saying that she doesn't feel comfortable staying. She might cancel. It's a really good reservation, a long reservation. So we said, you know what, team, let's get to work. We went out to Home Depot. We found these little stands that you could actually put on the bed frames, and we put those on the bed frame. We lifted it up, and when we did, the guest came back inside. She was so happy and so grateful when she saw it. And that's when we came to realize is that she had surgery, which she didn't, mention or let us know. But we realized that basically it was that the bed was way too low due to the surgery that she had. That it was very uncomfortable for her to get in and out of the bed. So by us raising the bed, basically it made that process so much easier. And she was so grateful. We made a forever guest. It turned from weird to reasonable very quickly, but super proud of the team that we got that done and we were able to think outside the box, right? Super cool.
Yes, and we'll just say she came for an interesting surgery that a lot of people come to Miami for.
I don't want to get into
We're not
detail,
gonna
but
blow her up. We won't blow her up. All right, we won't. Hopefully, she'll stay a forever guest and doesn't hear this. But yeah, there's a lot of weird things out there. And vacation rentals is interesting because you
Right.
have people that are staying in homes, and the way we set it up is like you're staying at someone's home, and that's
Right.
how we tried to make it vibe that way.
Yeah.
Like you don't really know it's a Tangy branded home.
Right.
Um, until maybe the very end, and we want you to know if you're having a good experience to come on back with us and book directly with us. But usually it's the face of our owners, and we try to make a very intimate experience. But people are unique, right? They come into people's homes, and we had hurricanes come through, and storms, and there's leaves that fall off of trees, and they sometimes end up in pools, and it freaks the guests. You ruined my whole vacation, you guys, because the leaves fell in from the trees, and we get there, it's like a palm leaf that they could pull out, or little things around the pool are always the funniest to me. Or that the kitchen utensils aren't perfect condition, brand new. All right, this is a kitchen. Like things get used. If you've ever been in a real commercial kitchen, those pots and pans are used and they're banged up. They're not beautiful like they would show up on a buffet for show. So those are unique. But I can bring my hotel one. I think the most unique for me,
Please.
I've had a lot of weird ones in hotels, but the one that still remember is the Dalai Lama came to Miami, and he
Incredible.
had a whole crew of monks that were staying with him, and they needed two things consistently, and their dinner. So the Dalai Lama, for everyone listening, what he eats for dinner every night, at least that he was in Miami, was desserts, and he needed all different kind of desserts: cakes, macaroons, cookies,
Wow.
puddings, pies.
Wow.
All that was it. There was no
You have
proteins
to
or
share this
rices or
with me.
vegetables.
I did
It
not
was
know this.
only desserts. And then the other funny part was that they required fresh goat milk. And so it wasn't like, oh, go get goat milk from a bottle. It was like, no, we had to find a goat farmer. That goat farmer would bring the goat, and we would do things right on site. So it was like fresh from the goat. So that was probably the most unique. And that's when you start learning about like 5-star, 5 diamond, and you're renting a whole floor of a luxury hotel. Like we'll
Incredible.
go above and beyond for you. So
Well,
that's my most unique, I think,
that's incredible. Yeah, I
in my
never
career.
shared that one with me. That's I hope I'm not confusing the stories or the person, but were you also the one that told me that you saw Dalai Lama with Michael Jackson?
No,
No,
I
it's
also had Michael Jackson stay at the hotel, but
the
not
hotel.
together.
Yeah, there was
Yeah,
an interesting story. I forget who had mentioned it, but they said they went to a restaurant and saw Dalai Lama and Michael Jackson sitting together.
it
So
could
I was
be.
funny. I thought it was you.
No,
But super
no.
interesting, right? You said it.
Yeah, some of my
What?
things.
So where did you find the goat?
I found a local goat farmer. We got to talk to my guy Antonio Racias because I think he found it. I just remember that. I was like, wow, because I had to set up everything in the room. I had to make sure he was taken care of. I had to stand outside the room to deliver the desserts all the time. So,
Yeah,
uh, pretty funny to see
it's
how
incredible.
everyone's. But celebrities are always unique. A
Interesting.
lot of them. Some are chill, and those are my favorite people that are the most chill. But that's probably the most unique thing that stands out, like for me. Yeah, people
Yeah,
trash the rooms and party and do things, but for requests, I think that was the most unique request I've
that's
seen.
that's so interesting. Yeah, I think you told me the other day you saw Mark Wahlberg just hanging out, being a normal
Yeah,
dad guy
at the
hanging out.
Breakers. Yeah, at the Breakers hanging out. This was last week. I was at two different hotels. At the Breakers, you had Mark Wahlberg just strolling through, and cool dude, taking pictures with people, and then you had Kelsey Grammer from Frasier with his grandkids hanging at the pool at another hotel. You just, they're just regular, they're just like us, man. Most
They're
part.
just like this. That's
But then
awesome.
you have some that are not. Some are divas, and just how it
Yeah.
goes.
I love that we're talking about this because if we do have any owners, it's such an interesting topic every time we do get a new property, we do have a new owner onboarding. There is a part where you have to coach them in a sense because they're not used to this, right? We come from hospitality; they're not used to these requests. Or I think one that I usually always get, especially from owners that have stayed in hotels or have had that hotel experience, is they're surprised by the guest always asking for discounts. They're like, oh, I did not know this. This was so uncommon for me. So those are always one little point, and we have to have that conversation with the owners and let them know, like, hey, we have experience in this. Nothing will surprise us anymore. Don't let it surprise you. Don't take it personal. This is completely normal. Let us handle it. We've gone through instances like this many, many, many times with weird requests, upset guests, etc. The last thing we want to do or want the owners to have to do is show up to the house to scream at guests or get upset, which has happened before. Coming,
Yeah, stay away. We'll handle it. Yeah.
Talking from experience. So we always coach the owners and letting them know, like, hey, just don't be, put down by what guests may say or what guests may request. This is completely normal, and that's why you hired us as a property management company, and you instilled your trust in Tanguy to be able to handle these requests that we've done time and time again. So owners, put your patience hat on. I promise it's
That's
okay.
right. That's right. We'll see how you do in South Carolina now as the owner. Let's see what happens. But we had a lot of great topics here today on the show, covering all the things that we've got going on. So I hope to see some of you out there. If you're at WTE Miami, shoot us a message. We'd love to see you there. I'll be on stage giving out the Hospitality Mentor Awards, the top 12 categories based off the 50 hotel and 50-day challenge I did. So that's cool to see, like just an idea. Now we're on stage giving out awards to people.
Cool.
I'm gonna have to just hand them to you if no one's there. And then and look, we always love sharing knowledge with you. So if you found something useful here today, make sure to hit subscribe here, share this video with somebody or the audio that may be getting into the industry and needs some help. And as always, we appreciate you watching. So until next week, have a great rest of the day. Victor, anything you'd like to add?
Have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend, everyone.
Bye.